Hey, how's it going, folks? This is Grant Haddon with Carnivore Pastures. I'm out here today on this pretty day, put out a few bales of hay, but I had something I want to talk about to kind of show you. So we are newly into this process on this particular piece of ground, which is about 108 acres. We are 6 months into completely doing, I guess, what you would call regenerative, I can never say that word. We'll call it regen from now on. Regen agricultural practices. So I made a post the other day on our Instagram page and our Facebook page, which is Carnivore Pastures, that we were completely swearing off pesticides. Now, along with swearing off pesticides, we are also getting out of the business of pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, any kind of sides. So, and this, I will wrap all this together, but one of the reasons is I do not believe that, you know, any kind of pesticides, herbicides, anything like that that kills something, you know, will, in theory, not in theory, will kill a lot more than it's intended to. So say you have, you know, something planted like rye or ryegrass, and you're dealing with armyworms. Well, does it benefit you to go through and spray and kill those armyworms if you kill everything else that goes in the ground? And I would say no. So something right here we're doing, this is a field I wanted to show you. Right here we're doing what I would call hay bombing, and I can't take credit for that. I learned that from somebody else. But what we are doing is attempting to build up soil microbial health and organic matter in the soil, as well as carbon. All that kind of ties in together. Now, we're not going to spray anymore. We did put some ag lime out, but we're not going to use any more fertilizers. We're not going to spray any pesticides, herbicides. We're just going to let nature kind of take its course and try to resist it as little as possible. Now, and I hope y'all can hear me. I think I picked one of the windiest days that you could find. But so this field last year was harrowed up completely with about a 10.5 offset harrow, basically turned into just sand. There was ryegrass planted and broadcasted, and they turned it back over, put a whole bunch of nitrogen on it, and last year it looked great. Well, that's good, but guess what? After you do that, the next year, one, you have no topsoil left hardly, or not, you may have some left, but you're going to lose a lot. You've killed a lot of your organic matter, you've killed a lot of your fungus, you've killed a lot of your pesticides. These microbes, and you know, we're told our whole lives to, you know, be very wary of germs and bugs and blah, 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 blah. But, you know, for this soil, for a seed to be in this ground and for it to come up and grow, you have to have these microorganisms in the soil to make it grow. Now, what we are trying to do with this hay bombing process, which I'm about to touch on, is to help build that organic matter and feed the microbes in the soil. So the healthier the microbes are, the better soil we'll have, and in theory we'll have healthier cattle. Healthier cattle means healthier us. So I'm going to show you, if you can see it right here. So right here in front of me, you can see where this spot was harrowed up, and I'm just going to take a random sample. Now I am right here on the fall line in Georgia. Now folks, that is straight sand. I don't know how well you can see it. I hope you can see it good. So, and it's super windy. To counter that, what we're doing is feeding hay what I would call wastefully. So we're feeding, we're not putting it, used to, and I don't know how well you can see this, but normally there's two spots right here, and I can't see the lens on the camera, so I don't know if I'm pointing at it, but there's a spot right here, and there's a spot in the back corner in the woods where my grandfather has fed hay for years, literally years. He would put them up on trailers, and the cows would go back there in that back corner. They would eat off these trailers, and the hay and manure, urine, everything would just be compacted, fall off, and just fall right in the soil right there. Now that spot I just showed you is, like I said, complete sand, and that was pretty evident. Now if I go back there in that back corner, and we'll ride back there in just a second, and kick up some dirt right there, the difference is, I mean, there's no comparison. The soil is almost black and looks like potting soil. So in an attempt to help rebuild our organic matter, our topsoil, healthier microbes, more earthworms, like I said, we are doing this hay bombing where instead of just putting it in one location, we're feeding all across all pastures. So I don't know how well you can see it. This one's pretty recent, and then you can see across the field where we fed more. Now, I'm going to kick up a spot right here. This one was probably one of the first ones we done. I'm going to kick up a random spot lightly. Now, look at this. This right here will be teeming with all types of fungi, different types of bacteria, earthworms, and as it breaks down, it will provide food for all these microbes that I'm talking about that will help feed the soil. And in turn, it will give me healthier grass. I mean, just look at how, I don't know how well you can see that, but I mean, folks, it's a lot darker. And as this breaks down, it'll be a lot better for the soil. So, like I said, you know, if you want to follow along with us on this journey, we are kind of 6 months into, you know, changing the practices on how we manage this farm. We have 2 different lines of cattle. We're going to have grass-fed, grass-finished beef raised on this particular farm. I had no certifications as far as grass-fed, grass-finished goes, but we will be basically organic and grass-fed, grass-feed. Now, I have no certifications. I don't like the certifications. They tell me what I can and cannot do on my farm. You know, folks, if I have some kind of invasive species come up, I'm gonna try my best to avoid putting any kind of insecticide on it. But there may be 3 years down the road where I have to do that. Now, if I have to do that, I have to do it. But we're gonna go look in this back corner and do a comparison on the dirt back there. You've already seen the sandy soil. You've seen the new organic matter that we put out. And now let's go check out the back that's been doing it for probably close to 20, 30 years. All right, so we are back in the area that we have fed hay for a long time. So when I say a long time, these trailers have basically been parked back here in these woods, and you know, the hay has just been dumped here. It's been loaded on these trailers, and the cows have ate off the trailers. Hay would fall down, and it's pretty shocking what it looks like. So we just showed you the sandy top that we harrowed up last year. Now I'm gonna show you what it looks like when I kick up a spot. Now I don't know if this does any justice, but look at that. So that is some healthy soil. That is soil. I would call that out there, I would call that sand or dirt. So again, to touch back on, you can find a lot better research than I can provide you, or information on microbial health. But at the same time, it's a scary thought to think that one day it is possible that we could lose all of our topsoil. And folks, if you lose your topsoil, that means you could plant a seed in the ground and nothing would grow. Now, I've read that at one time the Sahara Desert and Egypt were lush pasture, savanna type areas, forest, and from man's practice of agriculture for thousands of years, we all know what Egypt, when you think of Egypt, you don't think of a lush pasture or any kind of savanna type environment. So all this to say, when agriculture was centralized, commoditized, everything was meant on the basis of cutting costs as much as possible to deliver cheaper product to the end consumer. And to get costs down, I think we have sacrificed a lot as far as like nature goes. So like I said, what we're trying to do here is work more with nature instead of so much against it. And if you want to follow along, this will be I hope it'll be a long journey. Stuff is pretty expensive, and we are trying to add. We will be adding costs back, but at the same time, I think it'll be worth it. Like I said, healthier dirt, healthier cattle, I think will equal in the long term healthier humans. So if you're interested, give us a follow, leave a comment if you have any questions. If you have any suggestions on building topsoil, organic matter or have been through the hoops with this already and there's something I could cut a corner on, it is much appreciated. I'm not claiming to be an expert by any means, but I mean, just that's a lot different than what I showed you earlier. So, like I said, if you have any questions or any suggestions, leave a comment. And if you want to follow along with this probably long and painful journey we're going to have, give us a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.